Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode of the Commerce Lab. My name is Vincenzo Toscano, founder and CEO of Ecomcy. And today we bring you another special guest. His name is Adam Shaffer, and he's the president and founder of Omni-Channel Distribution, which is actually a brand accelerator agency that focuses on helping businesses grow on Amazon. So I think today's topic is actually going to be very interesting, bringing Adam to the table, because we're going to be talking what a missing opportunity is to sell on Amazon, and we're also going to be touching other topics around which products to sell, what tactics to use, and things like that, right? But before we jump into that, let me bring you to the table. Adam, let me introduce you. Thank you for coming. How you doing today?
Doing great, Vincenzo. Thanks for having me here. I love this multi-continent thing. It is great, and we care about the same stuff. It's like
Yeah,
e-commerce has brought the world together.
for sure. It's a pleasure. I mean, thank you for coming. For sure, I think having people from, I mean, first of all, I think that's the beauty of e-commerce, right? Having the beauty of e-commerce that you can be working from any continent, any country. You just need a laptop, internet, and that's it. That's the beauty, right? But yeah, I mean, for sure, it's a pleasure to have you today. I think you're gonna drop a lot of knowledge when it comes to Amazon. But before we jump into that, I think it's gonna be very important for our audience just to get to know you a bit better. So if you can just give us a brief introduction of who Adam is, how you got started into e-commerce, and what is omni-channel distribution about. Yeah.
Super. So thank you. So I'm Adam Shaffer. I'm the president of Omni-Channel Distribution, and Omni-Channel Distribution's mission in life is to work with and help brands accelerate their business and help them also navigate the very complex but really important world of marketplaces. And in North America, Amazon is really the main, the number one. Not that Walmart and the others aren't important, but you got to master that Amazon, and then we also help on all those other marketplaces too. And so we help, again, take the complication out. We make it really simple and easy, and we know how to navigate and grow brands on Amazon. So we're a full service agency, and on Amazon you have to be great at everything, because there is a lot of competition and the world is evolving and everybody's getting better and better and
Yeah.
leveraging all the new facilities that are there. And a big differentiator is that we put skin in the game with our clients. We buy and sell their products. So we do pure agency model, which is really great because we don't have to invest lots of capital in
Yeah.
products. But when we believe in the brand, and that's the best way for the brand to work, because many brands or manufacturers, that's how they function. They sell pallets of stuff. So we buy the products and sell it, and we make money on the gross margin after the Amazon fees. So we're a brand accelerator, and love brands. I've been in the direct marketing business, which then evolved to the e-commerce business for 30 some odd years. So
Wow.
I'm kind of an older player, and people say, well, how do the older guys, figure this out? This is a young person's game. And it definitely is, and it isn't. I mean, I think the experience of seeing it all, from the original print and paper catalogs and postcards that would get mailed, to being one of the first companies to create their own D2C, D2B, e-commerce sites, and then figuring out how to master the Amazon and Walmart marketplaces. That experience is really important, and it's one of those things that the old tricks still work, but it's on steroids, and it's almost one-to-one at this point. So I think that brings to bear a lot of important lessons learned, but then the ongoing education that you get every single minute of every day by being immersed in this thing really helps out. And that is what's hard for brands to get their heads around. They're great at their brand and their products that they manufacture, and maybe even their historic channel. But now it gets even more complicated and changes quite often. Um, and so we help them drive their business and protect their brand. on the
Yeah.
marketplaces and expand into other countries.
That's amazing. Yeah, I think what you guys do is amazing because the reality is that we really need people like you in the market in terms of experts, because there are so many brands out there, just as you mentioned, that they know what they need to do in terms of production, they know what need to do in terms of product design, they have everything figured out in terms of the production, the product itself, but when it comes to market the product, they have no clue. And the thing is, just as you mentioned, e-commerce is something that changes 24/7. I mean, with Amazon, that from one day to another, you can be doing a strategy and next day it doesn't work anymore, right? So for some brands, it's difficult if you don't have a person full time working just on e-commerce to figure things out and basically keep up with the snowball effect of basically always trying to catch up with all the changes. So I think, yeah, for sure, working with an agency like yourself and doing that kind of business model, for sure, it provides tons of value to especially the retailers that are struggling right now with everything that's going on worldwide. I think e-commerce is a must, right, in terms of channels that you should be having your business nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, and again, whether it's the smallest brand or a brand that's been around forever and ever, they are going to go through the same things. Now, maybe there are customers already on Amazon looking for a brand, but once you look at a brand that you've known forever and ever, you'll find that there are plenty of other brands that you might not have ever heard of that have better ratings,
Yeah,
more reviews, um, incredible content,
yeah.
incredible videos, and again, that brand that's been around that you grew up with, they gotta they gotta come to play, and they got to do
Yeah,
great, because these other companies, small or not, they're getting really good at everything. But that is really important. You got to be really good at everything. And you had mentioned, like, um, I have this product, and I want to sell it on Amazon. So, but I might not know the marketing side of it. And the
yeah,
thing is, it's not just the marketing of it. It's how to do the research on the search words that matter. How to make sure that the words on the page really are the right words to be caught up in the search engine of Amazon. How to decide what to call your product and what the product description is. The types of pictures that you use and the story that you tell and the video that you need to create, and create more videos, and understanding Amazon's advertising and how it works and the different types, and that changes, and the world is going more to video advertising.
yeah.
It's not that the other advertising is going away, but higher conversions, as it's a little less crowded, but also when people see the product in use, and they see that that's the product that solves their problem, they gravitate to that. So you got to be great at it. Now you got to be great at Google too, because you
Yeah,
need to be able to bring advertising and marketing from off Amazon to on Amazon. So it used to be
yeah.
no advertising on Amazon. Now it's advertising on Amazon, and Amazon's actually helping by giving a discount, but they want that traffic off Amazon coming on to Amazon, not to Shopify,
Yes.
if they can help it. So
Yeah.
it's awesome. Then there's the logistics. So say you got your marketing and all
Huge.
that down. What's the one thing you're going to do? I got my advertising campaign sorted out. I got my videos. I got my content. Oh no, I don't have the product. Oh, it's not in stock. Or Amazon lost it. It's missing. It's not at FBA. Where'd it go? Um, or the ship isn't here yet. I get my products from overseas and it's delayed, and I'm in a bit of a pickle. So you could do all this great work, but if you don't have the product, you can't sell it. And I know plenty of people that are brilliant creative product designers or have great ideas, but they don't want to deal with all that other stuff. And I have
Yes.
people that like dealing with some of the logistics, but they're not great. Not everybody's got that part of their skill set or brain. Some people just want to create and be creators, and I love that. And I love it for the fact that anybody could do it if you have
Yeah.
passion for products. It used to be they had to figure out, how do I break into retail? I can just sell it on Amazon or create my Shopify store,
Yeah.
and and then build it from there. So I kind of, I want my kids to do it. I try to
Yeah.
inspire them to say, what's a product that you want to invent? And my wife is from Poland. I'm like, what are the things from Poland that maybe we could sell, and you could create your own store on Amazon. Like, you have your family source it for you. It's, amber, crystal, whatever this stuff is. And, so I'm like, a lunatic. I love this stuff. And when I meet people, it's like, yeah, why don't you try it? It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fully on board with you on this. I think now that you bring all these points to the table, that allows to open the conversation of why Amazon really is such an amazing place to start in terms of your business and to bring your business to. Because I know there is always this concern about bringing your business to Amazon because of all the complexity that we're just talking about and also the competition. But at the same time, you see one man show people, which means one person running one business now in the last few months selling businesses for a couple of millions to these
Mhm.
aggregators. And this is a business run maybe by two, three, four people compared to companies that they have 5,000 overhead employees and they don't manage to get the same success on Amazon because for them it's more difficult as a corporation to spin the wheel, adapt, and create the changes that needs to be done to succeed on Amazon. So I think that basically just prove our point that Amazon is definitely right now the best channel to start your e-commerce journey for sure, right?
Yep, and I agree with you. And there's a whole story on the aggregators, but that's interesting because it gave an opportunity for private label companies to be able to monetize, these businesses that they developed. And what happens is, you have an idea and you start to develop it on Amazon, and it's growing. Like, so it's all success. There definitely could be the failures, but there's the success. And what does success mean? Growth. What does growth mean? You have to invest more in inventory because this is about having product.
Yeah,
And if the delay in product coming in adds an extra 3 or 4 weeks or 6 weeks, and then the time it takes you to get the product up to Amazon is another 2 or 3 or 5 weeks, that means you got to buy even more,
yeah,
and you got to grow. So you got to tie up cash. And there are a lot of services to try to help entrepreneurs, get beyond that. But there's a moment in time. He's like, when do I get to keep the money? I got to keep on buying all this stuff, or I can't afford to buy all this stuff. Like, it's just too much. So I think the aggregators brought to the table a way, with Amazon's blessing, of course, to be able to go sell the businesses. But the problem is, like, you and I start something and we're so passionate about it, and we worry about the smallest detail. But we might not have been that great at logistics, and we might not have the money to bring in all the stuff. But
yeah.
that's where the aggregators kind of help. But when you buy a couple of hundred brands,
That's a
uh,
nightmare.
it's really hard, and so you're not going to get the secret sauce all the time. But what it does do is they brought real, you know agency discipline, to the business. So they're better at understanding statistics because they had the wherewithal to bring in data scientists and figure things out, and what works and what might not work faster, what types of products to go after. But they also bring in professionals from the outside that are really good at advertising. So what this does is it raises the bar for the smaller private labels to make sure that they are getting better and better and better. So I think what it's done in general is it's brought the talent and the quality of the stuff on Amazon to a new level. So I kind of
Yeah,
dig it. I just think that that's a tough model. I love buying, a private label company or a few, but several hundred. That means you got to
yes.
have a staff, like you said, like 1,000+ people to manage it, and it's hard
Yeah.
to keep that growth going always.
Yeah, and if you combine that all with all the logistics issue that's happening worldwide, PPC getting more expensive, the whole competition, I think in one side is good because I also agree with you that it's bringing a positivity into Amazon that I feel products are becoming more premium and are really providing a better branding
Mm,
life experience to customers because right now that's the only way you really can compete in Amazon. I think those days 4 or 5 years ago that you could just send a spatula with a poly bag and put a sticker and make millions of dollars. Those are over for sure. Now it's all about branding. I think that's great for for the consumer for sure. But for us, people now getting started on Amazon, I think it's getting a bit more complex because now you need to
absolutely.
think more as a brand, more as a whole business, rather than one product and that's it, right?
Yeah, and it's funny you said the bag to the box, right? Like, I mean that's a big deal. But sure, I'd love to just have it in a bag, and there's still plenty of stuff that you'll get in a bag and it's fine. But there's so many products where that experience of opening the packaging, the Amazon box, and having this poly bag or bubble bag with, it's kind of a letdown, and you say, did
Yeah,
I get the right thing? Is this so thinking even through the box, even though it's not going to be on a store shelf, is a big deal, only for the customer to get it and open it. And what that does also is it does cut down on your returns because Amazon makes it easy. Why do I buy
yeah,
from Amazon? What do a lot of people buy from Amazon? A million reasons, but one big reason is it's safe, right? I could return
yeah,
it if I don't like it. My wife buys, everybody buys knowing that I buy clothing. It's not right. I'm sending it back, and no questions asked. But you want to keep that, as a seller, you want to keep that turn rate down as low as possible. So it's Amazon's rules, but I got to figure out ways to make the customer really happy because I don't want to deal with those returns. And so
yeah.
the box is one of those, I don't want to say a trick, but it's a method to reduce returns so people feel like they're getting what they paid for.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's a great tip. And now I think that gives us the opportunity to start shifting also a little bit the conversation towards what are some of the initial things a person should get into their mind whenever they want to start strategizing their start into Amazon. And I think I want to start touching around what are some of maybe the categories and also criteria and also budget, because I get this question a lot: how much money do I need to start on Amazon? So I would like to also pick about that on you, because I know everybody has different opinions on this. So maybe let's start maybe first with which categories you advise for a new person starting with Amazon, and then we can divert from there and see what else we can bring to the table.
And there's definitely differing views on this, but when I started on Amazon, I started with what I knew best, and it wasn't because I didn't like the other categories. I just happened to know more about the technology and electronic space and those kinds of products. And in general, it was a very, very big category, very competitive category, very big category. But it was something that I knew. I knew the manufacturers. I knew it well. So there's so much and really good software to help you understand the size of all the different categories. But and so here's where I differ. I think that initially you need to be passionate. If you're going to be not selling other brands but creating your own brand, you should be passionate about the product, because you really got to tell a story about your product, and the folks that are passionate about it will tell the best story. Now, there are others that say, oh, that's not true. You got to find the biggest category where there's the biggest hole. And I bet you they're right. But if it's boring for me and I'm a creative person,
You
so
get
I think
tired easily. Yeah,
and so you got to sync it up a little bit between what are the things I love, and sometimes niche products within a big category really does well because it's so targeted. For instance, in the U.S. And worldwide now, but in the U.S. more so, electric cars are, becoming more and more popular if you can get your
yeah.
hands on them, and so, but Tesla is the brand still,
It's the
and
Apple. It's the Apple basically of
it's
cars.
the
Yeah.
Apple of electric cars, right? And so, and there's a following. People have an affinity with that brand. So if you create products for not cars, but Tesla cars. Like,
Yeah.
that is really cool. Is it the biggest market in the world? Well, I might be a big player in a subsection of a very big category. So that could be pretty damn cool. And I think, people might want to look at that. What are the things, what are the brands that you maybe can add accessories to? I'm not going to create the new iPad, but is there something that there's a problem with that people have and there isn't something yet developed? Maybe everything's been developed for that already, so maybe move on. But I do think there is a need for passion if this is about a creative pursuit, and also trying to solve a problem. How do you know that a problem exists unless you don't see it and feel it every day? If it's just a me too, there's a
It's
bunch of
difficult.
companies that could come in from offshore and do it cheaper than you. So what could you do that differentiates your product? So there's software like Helium 10 and Jungle Scout, and I'm not trying to advertise for them. And there's others on the brand side of things. There's Smart Scout and
Yeah,
so many. So you could go and they all have their different algorithms, but you could get a pretty good handle on the major category and the subcategories. But then also go and look at all the different competitors and what they're doing. And if it's just a me too, it'll
yeah,
wind up being a price war. So try to find, by reading all their reviews, I'm sure they're all great reviews, but there's going to be the ones
yeah, for sure.
that are going to say, what it is that they don't like. And as long as it's not the UPS guy dropped it in the mud, and it's something that you keep on seeing over and over again, where people are saying, I love the product, except I wish it did this. It doesn't work for this. And if you see some commonality in that, I think that'll help you create something that could differentiate it. So
Yeah,
passion, differentiator, and think about passion. Like if it's a product and you start with one product in that category, you could then branch out and create other products within that brand. And the
for
beauty
sure.
of that is if it's connected somehow to that original idea, in most cases you could list it on Amazon as a variation or twist
Yeah,
it somehow, and that really, really, really helps launch that product.
yeah.
There's nothing better, because no matter what, advertising costs money, and you still have to market and advertise it, but the success of the first product will, help launch the next product.
Yeah, for sure. You basically create a halo brand effect. You start with your hero product, and you use basically the traffic you get from that to upsell the other products, which is, I think, the best strategy you can do whenever you want to scale a brand. But I think most importantly, from what you mentioned, I like the fact that you keep mentioning passion and focusing on something around branding and something that you like, because the reality also that we need to mention is that whenever I see those brands that are selling for the highest multiples and exits, most of the times those are businesses where the business owner had a ton of passion. They really understood their niche. They were super focused on creating a brand. And I think if you focus from day one to actually use that as your driver towards the end goal, which I think most people is aiming for an exit, I think that's where for sure you're gonna have the biggest chance to get the best paycheck, right?
And Vincenzo, you know what they always say? It's like, don't do it because you're going to make a killing. Do it because you love what you do, and the money will come. Now, I want to believe that too, but I don't. It's not raining. So, but I mean, I just think that definitely helps you get through the day. The other thing is, if so that's for somebody trying to get in. But if it's a brand that already exists but not on e-commerce, on a marketplace, the big thing is, if somebody actually wants your product, um, and somebody cares about it, somebody's going to be selling it on Amazon with or without your help. So, I think the thing is, if you're an existing brand and you're really not, if you don't have an Amazon strategy, you better get an Amazon strategy. And first and foremost is to protect your brand, create your content, lock it down best you can with brand registry, and then make sure that you're selling it at the list price or the MSRP or the minimum advertised price. But if you don't do something and you don't create a strategy somehow, some way, somebody from overseas is going to find
Yeah,
it and sell it, or somebody here, or they're going to get through some distributor, and it's there. And so, how do you deal with that? And that's one of the things we help with brand protection, and also finding a trustworthy partner that will not sell it below your minimum advertised price, and will help find the unauthorized guys and work with the brand to get them off Amazon, which is not easy. Um, I think your brand is going to get hurt. So,
yeah,
new, tons of opportunity. Current, there's a good chance if you don't think you're on Amazon, you're on Amazon. And if you don't have an Amazon strategy, somebody's selling your stuff on Amazon. And if nobody is, it might be that nobody, nobody wants your product. But I
yeah,
think that would be hard to believe.
yeah. I mean, those are amazing points. I totally agree with you. I think Amazon is for sure a market that you must be nowadays. I mean, we were actually discussing before recording this episode that Amazon is already covering 50+% of e-commerce sales. That means if Amazon is not on your equation, you're leaving 50% of possible sales on internet dead, right? So it's for sure a must when it comes to integrating now within the business. Now just to now start bringing the
But
episode to a
before
close.
you go in,
Yeah,
just really quick on that point,
sure.
I talked about the passion, but one thing, and it's obviously important for people to know, if you could develop a product that people need to use over and over again, always better. So
Yes,
something that is a disposable subscription like replenishable kind of
that's
thing,
correct.
it's great. And if you're selling in multiple channels and people buy this on a weekly, monthly, yearly basis, the more of your product that's out there, it doesn't matter what the channel, the better chance that you'll have incremental sales. So you also think about, if you make a product and you sell a product, is there a part of that product that needs to be updated or replaced because it's a filter, or it's,
Yeah,
because something that it's okay to wear, but it's going to be replaced. If it's like even coffee beans, you buy coffee beans on a monthly basis. So apologies, I should have brought that up
no,
sooner, but
don't worry. That's
that
an
subscription
amazing.
business is a big deal.
Yeah, I'm totally with you on that. I mean, that's why supplements is the craziest category to sell on, because people know that, and that's why they go for supplement. Because just as you mentioned, is if you captivate a customer once through supplements, like an example now, just as you mentioned, you can get them subscribed to your product, and most people will even remember that they got subscribed, and that's cash flow coming in
Mhm.
easily, right? So yeah, that's an amazing tip for sure. I think implementing that into creating your brand for sure
And
is.
also, if your products are somewhere else in addition to Amazon, so that go back to your 50% of the world buying from Amazon. If you're selling it at retail, you're selling it on your own, and you're selling it at Amazon, now you're everywhere. And if they buy it from Amazon and they're walking through a store, or they want to learn more about your brand, go direct, you got the customer. So in a world where you don't really own all those customers, now they know your brand, they're passionate about your brand, they want to buy your brand. What do you care where they buy it from?
Yeah, that's completely great. I mean, actually, now that you mentioned this, I want to bring another thing to the conversation, which is that I don't know if you saw the last couple of days this new feature called Buy with Prime, which is basically this from the Amazon wants to integrate with your website and other marketplace. So I think if Amazon is controlling 50% now without that, imagine what is going to happen in the future once they integrate with all those other marketplaces, all those other websites. I mean, it's going to be crazy, right?
And what we've been doing for a long time is, and they I don't know if they advertise it, but now they're bringing it to market with a real with some real branding. But you can use Amazon to fulfill for your Shopify site
Yeah,
now, before that program, and for other marketplaces, for eBay. So a Shopify site is easily fulfillable from your inventory sitting up at FBA. And
yeah,
now they're really making a program of that. And, it's interesting. But I love the fact that you don't have to have your inventory everywhere. It's with
yeah,
Amazon, and they're good at logistics, man. They're really good.
yeah. They
And their rates
basically
are
want
good.
to control the 3PL war now as well. So that's why.
Yeah. Well, they got
Yeah,
to stay competitive and keep on coming up with ways to make themselves more relevant and not give share up to the others. It's
yeah,
smart.
for sure, for sure. Now, just to now start bring closure to this episode, I want to ask you if there is any other thing you think we missed today in terms of advice for new sellers or people thinking to get started on Amazon or even existing sellers. I mean, I always want to like to do this last question to get the most out of our guests in terms of knowledge and
I
tips.
don't know if we'll get the most because there's so much to talk about, but one thing that's coming up is Prime Day, and they didn't announce, unless I missed it in the last few minutes, the exact dates, but most likely it's
Yeah,
going to be July 18th and 19th, the Monday and
that's
Tuesday.
correct.
And so, assuming that's it, it's going to most likely be in July, but most likely 18th and 19th. And so preparing now, right this minute, it's probably late already even, you got to start planning for Prime Day if you want to participate. But Prime Day, especially in the US, is a bigger day in shopping than Cyber Monday. It's Black Friday and Cyber Monday, which are humongous days. And it's not like it's eons bigger, but it's definitely bigger. And Amazon really gets behind it. And so that means you got to have more inventory. You got to
Yeah.
think through your promotions and marketing, or maybe you don't want to have marketing with regard to price reductions because the costs maybe have gone up for you, and you
Yeah.
don't have enough products. So you got to come up with what your strategy is. But it's very exciting, and there's a lot of things to think about. So we do help customers with this, or clients with that, and we have a checklist that we've created to kind of go down and look at before Prime Day, during Prime Day, and after Prime Day, the different things that you should be thinking about and planning. And that's available if people want to come to our site and download it for free. So if you go to
Yep.
omnichanneldistribution.com, a very simple URL to spell, but I'm hoping
Yeah,
you
I'm
make
gonna
it
put in
easier
the
for them.
description
That would
anyway,
be
so no
that'd be great, because I
worry.
spell it wrong sometimes too. But you can go there onto the blog and you can download it. And it doesn't apply to every type of product, but definitely will get you thinking, and it'll go step by step through the things that you really should plan and think about. But that
That's
to me
amazing.
is, take advantage of these holidays. Like, these are things you should be doing every day. So if you could kick butt on Prime Day, if you can kick butt and have your stuff together for holiday, the fourth quarter, then you should be really good every day. Like, that same discipline should go along on a weekly, monthly basis as a discipline you should bring to your business.
That's great. Yeah, totally with you on this. I mean, thank you very much for the advice. I think nowadays, with everything that's happening with logistics and the whole nightmare happening in Asia and all that, I think for sure preparing so much in advance is key. I think people is gonna find that very helpful. So thank you for bringing that to the table for sure. So yes, I think Adam. I mean, first of all, I want to thank you again. I did that at the beginning, but I want to do it again. I know you're a very busy person, and for me, it's a pleasure to have you here. I know you share a ton of content and knowledge to our audience, and for sure, some people is gonna reach out. So, if maybe you wanna also share some of your social media, people, or your email, or something you wanna share, if people want to reach out directly to you and ask you any questions, or maybe ask any services regarding omni-channel distribution, you wanna share?
Yeah, I mean, really, just if we could spell it for them, omnichanneldistribution.com, and you could find me. I'm more of a LinkedIn kind of guy, so I mean,
Okay.
it'd be boring. So come visit and find me on LinkedIn. I'll get back to you quickly. It's Adam Shaffer, Shaffer, and search me on LinkedIn, and I'll also provide you a link for that. And
Yeah.
Vincenzo, I really do appreciate being on your show, and I love that you're hitting this worldwide audience. I think it's awesome to be able to talk about this stuff and get people thinking. But there's so much opportunity. I don't care if it's competitive or not. It's a great place to get things going if you want to start a business and launch a brand.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you very much for that,
Thank
Adam.
you.
So definitely, we're gonna keep in touch, and looking forward to have you on the next one for sure in the future to keep
Thank you.
discussing Amazon related topics. Okay,
Awesome. Yep. Have a great day.
take care. Bye
Stay
bye.
out of the rain. Yep. Bye bye.